Is it true that we gotta compromise for love to work? Is it true? Is it true that without compromise, we can't really move forward? Is it true? Or is it just something we've been programmed to think? Because if that's the case, how is it that my gorgeous, bodacious wife, my heart, my queen, is bringing this endorsement of love in our home with a smiley face, doing what looks like work? Doesn't make sense to me. Compromise is a word we've been programmed to accept as part of our relationship status, specifically in marriages, where two people on a different opinion set are made to come into a modification, some kind of concession, whether they like it or yes, to try to meet, which to me sets a whole different standard lower than what is really desired. However, a compromise is better than nothing, right? Do you know that most relationships are really based on this subject, compromise? Most marriages really think that you have to compromise to make it work. What if I told you that there's something much better? There's something much deeper. It's called agape love, the love of God. It's called sacrifice. You see, compromise is a ticking time bomb. Every time I compromise, I put a tally down because it is not what I really desire. But then I'm going to take that over having nothing, right? So compromise creates this unwarranted expectation because even though my desires were not met, I did it for your sake because I just wanted you to be happy. So it's your turn to make me happy. If my definition of love is still based on an intense feeling and a deep affection, when I don't feel that depth of affection for you, then I'm going to demand you to give it to me. Why? Because I compromised. I did what you wanted me to do the last time. And this time I'm requesting you to do what I want you to do. It's only fair. Like I say, compromise is a ticking time bomb. And if you keep going that route, your marriage is going to explode because you guys are living by the rules of expectation. And that expectation is not based on the true foundation of what love is. It is on the true foundation of your human perception. It is on the foundation of what you want, your demands, and what you have built in your own understanding. It takes two to agree as one to move forward. But let me introduce you to sacrifice. You see, compromise, on the other hand, comes from a place of scarcity. Scarcity means you don't have it and you can't give what you don't have. If you give what you don't have, you feel depleted. That's why you go back and demand the other person gives back to you because they depleted you. You compromise. You have a leverage system on them. You have something against them. They gotta have to pay you back. You can blackmail them. Well, I did it for you. Well, I did it for you. You gotta do it back for me. It's so scarce. It's so empty. But you see, sacrifice comes from love. Love. Because love is sacrifice. See, the first thing that God says in the word is, for God so loved the world that he gave. The understanding that love comes with a given makes you know that love stems from the essence of sacrifice, where you give. Imagine two people in a relationship who only stake their understanding on the foundation of Christ and the bride. Just imagine two people who stake their understanding not on the feelings and the intenseness of whatever or the affection, but the knowledge of God by their own relationship with God, who they have come to understand that his love stems and starts from the embodiment of giving first. For God so loved the world that he gave. Why? Because it was him who claimed he loved. So then the first unction of that is to showcase that. That is when love moves from the revelation of it being a noun into an action, which is now a verb. He gives. See, sacrifice comes from a place of abundance. When one realizes that God has given them everything they need to sustain their relationships, because their relationship is just a semblance on their relationship with God. When my wife is sacrificing for me, when I am sacrificing for my wife, It is coming from my source, that is God, my relationship of understanding that God did everything possible to bring me up to the speed, give me these wisdoms, and gave me the patience so I can grow in that wisdom, so I can be enlightened by that wisdom, so I can now be able to become an experience. That is when I'm a qualified lover. When I've understood that love goes beyond how you feel and goes into what you can prove by knowledge of what you have acquired by God. So no matter how I feel, my knowledge will subside the feeling. See, when I sacrifice, it's like me thinking about my body and sacrificing by taking a shower. Why? Because to sacrifice that is to stop watching television, is to stop doing something that I'm doing for myself, probably enjoy myself and go to take a shower. If I have to go to the bathroom, I go to the bathroom, letting go certain things to make that a reality. But I don't get angry. I don't have an expectation. I don't have anything holding me because I know I'm doing myself a service. That is sacrifice. Sacrifice comes from the depth of abundance. That what I'm doing for my spouse, I'm doing for my wife, is what God intends to show love to her as a representation. Me sacrificing for my spouse is not me leveraging her. It is me understanding what I do for my own body to make my body better. If I put lotion on my body, it makes my skin better. The sacrifice is me applying the lotion to my skin. But do I have an expectation that because I did that, my skin has to do something back? No, I know I'm loving my skin because it's mine. It's mine. And that's what I see my wife doing here. It's her house. It's her husband and children. It's her children. It's her marriage. She's my wife. If I get up in the morning and I have to make tea for her every morning before I think about what I'm going to eat, is because I understand I'm not doing it for another person or another individual I don't know. I'm doing it for myself. Sacrifice comes from a place of abundance. So whenever I wake up, my connection in the revelation of God's love is me asking God, how do you intend to love my wife today through me? How? That makes me want to give her tea before I think about drinking water, because it's like giving myself tea, then I drink water. That is sacrifice. It comes from a place of overflow. There's no leverage system, and there's no expectation that because I gave, you got to give back, because that's where most of our struggles lie. That I gave this to you, you're taking for granted. If you don't give it back to me, then I'm being bamboozled. And this buffoonery is the reason why most love has been estranged, is going into a place where people are just breaking it apart, is because it's all based on give me, give me. Why? Because somebody programmed us and said, love is give and take. So if I gave, I got to take. And I got to take because I gave. And if you don't give me back, then you're taking me for granted. When love is actually give and give and give some more, because that sacrifices for yourself. It's like sacrificing to place a seed in the soil. The fruit are yours. It's yours for the harvest. So you give and give some more. Why? Because there's a love for the taking. So today I am giving you this understanding. Love is sacrifice, not compromise. I hope it opens your eyes.